Hello, this is Father Michael Nasser coming to you from St. Nicholas Orthodox Church here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, with this week's midweek reflection. And this week I am doing something I haven't done for a while, but I used to do a lot, and that is I'm going to reflect on the weather. Well, I guess I did mention weather recently, but anyway, I like talking about the weather. It's always been an interest of mine. A little bit of a meteorological geek. And one thing I love about the weather is one thing that a lot of us find frustrating, that it's hard to predict. So how did this come about? Well, we're trying to plan a soil trip to the beach. Teens want to go hang out at the beach and all that, and we're watching the weather, and every day it's changing, and we're like, what's with the weather forecast? One day it says 77, sunny, the next day it says 73, partly cloudy, then it's scattered thunderstorms. And that can be frustrating because we want to make our plans. However, it's what I love about the weather. I love the fact that the weather, this world in general, God's creation, still keeps us humble if we allow it to, because we still don't control it. And we can barely even predict it. I mean, from one day to the next, from 1 hour to the next, it's like, well, I think it's going to be like this, and it turns out to be very different. And again, it could be very frustrating. I think it could be very, very good and instructional for us to realize that with all of the computing power, think about it, all of the weather patterns going on right now in almost every place, almost on the entire planet, are all being recorded and processed by these supercomputers that are saying, okay, well, when it looks like this, the next day it'll be like this. And this is going on every moment. Billions and probably trillions of pieces of information being fed into these supercomputers so we can get better at predicting. Now, we've gotten better. We can predict more than we could, a few years ago, 5, 10 years ago, of course, but we still can't really get it. And I love that. I love the fact that we just don't really know from day to day. It would be really easy for us to get really self-satisfied, to be able to say, well, we know what it's going to be like. And we have been tempted to this as a race since the beginning. Many of you are familiar with the story of the Tower of Babel, how these people wanted to build a tower that could literally take them up all the way up to the sky. And what's amazing in that story in Genesis is that when God is reflecting on that, he looks down at the people doing this building and he says basically like, yeah, they could do it. And so what does he do? He confuses the tongues, which is actually the opposite of the feast we just had at Pentecost, where somebody speaking in one language could be heard by people in all kinds of languages. So it's a good thing that God does. He puts a world out for us that we can't really control. As much as we want to, we think it would make our lives so much better if we could just control this world. And yet it doesn't work that way. And we could be frustrated, or it could push us towards what we really need is some humility and say, you know what? We're the creature. He's the creator. That's what we could do when we find it so hard to do something simple as predicting the weather from one day to the next. So I hope we do that. I hope we find a little more humility and enjoy the fact that this world is so unpredictable despite all of our abilities and our supercomputers and all the rest, and put our trust in God and say whatever God wills, that's going to be the best, because that is the foundation of our faith. Whatever happens to us, if we pray, God, thy will be done, even if it's difficult, it will turn out to be the best for us and for our salvation. So I hope you found that helpful. I hope you go out and enjoy the weather, and I hope you enjoy the unpredictability. And if you found this reflection helpful, please share it with your friends via your social media accounts. And God willing, we'll see you in next week's video. Bye-bye.